Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Who Knows Best, the podcast where we share tips and strategies for the thriving in your Scentsy business. I'm Cassie Bollinger, and tonight we're diving into social media, but with a twist. We're talking about sharing your story, not selling the products. Whether you're scrolling through Instagram, posting on Facebook, or interacting with your followers, it's all about building connections and being relatable. We'll discuss how to share authentically on social media, create engaging content, and building relationships that lead to long-term success without feeling like you're constantly pushing products. But before we get started, let's meet the amazing co-hosts for joining our conversation. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Jacqui Duran.
And I am Robin Hatfield.
So tonight, whenever we kind of go over this, we're going to give you guys tips and tricks of what we are doing. We all do our social media differently. We're all on our primary is all on different platforms. My platform is primarily Facebook. I have recently really stepped up my game in TikTok. Instagram, I don't know, other than I'm sharing from Facebook to Instagram. I don't know how to get my Instagram up, so I'm hoping, and I have my notepad out because I know Miss Jacqui is amazing at Instagram. So when she comes around, we'll hear about that. So Robin, what do you suggest for new consultants that are maybe have never posted on any platform? Like they want to build up their presence, or like what suggestions would you give them to start social media, and which platforms are you on?
So I primarily work on Facebook. That's where most of my sales and teamies come from. I do have an Instagram, but I'm just like you, Texas. Like I don't know Instagram. Like I cannot figure out the secret sauce for Instagram. So I'm with you. I'm like, I'm hoping Jacqui has some like amazing tips because I just don't get it on that platform. And I feel like I'm relatable. So Facebook is my jam. And I like Facebook because you don't always have to post photos. Sometimes it can be like an inspiring quote that you type out. And maybe that's where I'm like not good at Instagram, is because it's mainly photos and that is hard for me. So my tip would be find a platform, whichever platform you're the most comfortable on, and stick with that one consistently. In the beginning, I did not use Instagram at all. I had an Instagram, but I never shared over there. I just scrolled. My primary focus, yeah,
Yes,
that's what I
there
want to
you go.
say,
You got it. You got it.
was Facebook, because that's just where I had connections at. And I just stayed consistent there. And it's so funny because your memories come up on Facebook, and sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh my God, my sharing style back then was terrible. But here is the thing. I didn't quit. I kept doing it. I kept learning and I got better. And so now I feel like my Facebook game is on point. So pick that platform that you're most comfortable with and stick with it and stay consistent, and don't share just Scentsy. You need to share other things because not everybody is going to buy from you, and that's okay. But you never know. Maybe you share one post and they connect with you, and then they start seeing all your other Cincy posts, and they're like, you know what? I really like this person. They're funny. I can relate to them. And then they may be a customer. So that would be my tip.
So do you mostly just do the posts, or do you do stories and reels? Like, is there so Facebook is your primary. So
Mhm.
what features do you utilize, and do you have the professional, or do you just have a regular?
I have the professional.
Okay.
And I mean, Facebook one day was like, hey, you're eligible for the professional page. I was like, okay, I mean, I'll try it out. I'm down to try things. I mean, worst case, it didn't work and I'll just switch back. I don't really, I mean, okay, I know the differences. So I'm not going to say I don't know the differences. But I mean, you get a lot of insights and stuff with the professional mode. So you can see what percentage you're up on followers, or what posts are getting the most engagement. So if you're a statistic person, that would be right up your alley. Me, I'm not a big numbers person, so I don't really look at the statistics, but I have stepped up my reels game, and I'm getting quite a few views on my reels. Like my reel that I shared with my husband and I sitting on the porch swing got 1,000 views. We're just sitting there drinking our coffee, being silly, and people love that. So that's what I say when I say share relatable content, things like that. If you have a spouse, what are you guys doing? Do you guys joke with each other? Like, do you find humor in your marriage? Like, things like that people can be like, oh my gosh, they're hilarious. Like, follow because I like that kind of thing. Um, so get out there, get your face in front of the camera. Reels are scary. Well, I wouldn't say they're scary. I would say they're awkward at first because you're looking at yourself in the camera.
Well, you're not even really looking at yourself. Just like when we're on here, if I'm looking in the camera, so y'all can see me looking at you, but that means you're
But
looking
this
at the
is different
screen.
because you're talking back to me. I'm talking to myself on a reel.
Yes.
So at first it was very awkward. But again, like I said, I stuck with it. I kept, okay, actually, I'm going to reverse a little bit. I want to say over the last few months is when I have really been consistent with the reels and have seen the growth on my social media page. Um, so that's mainly what I do is just reels that have nothing to do with Scentsy.
Okay, so
There
your
may be a
reels don't
Scentsy.
have anything to do with Scentsy. Okay,
Nope.
okay,
Because I want authentic followers, and I'm gonna be real honest. If your reels are only about Scentsy, I think people are gonna get bored. They're gonna be like, what else do you have to offer me? You
right.
know, like what else are you about? And so for me, not that I never do a Scentsy reel, I just prefer things that I'm doing. Kinsley started preschool this year. I did a first day of school
I'm
for
like,
preschool.
I'm so excited to see
I love
Kiki.
that.
Like, oh my gosh, she's so adorable.
You know what I really want to do? I really want to do like those OOTDs with her because I feel like she would be getting all the views.
Okay, what's that? Okay, I know a lot of
Pick of the day.
outfit. Oh, outfit of the day. Okay, because like
It's
I am still trying to
like
catch up on some of
trending
the
right now.
so some of that stuff. So that is cool. Yeah, I think you should because this is
And her
and you don't even have to
hairstyle.
do. Yeah, because she pick out her own clothes mostly.
Sometimes,
Mostly.
but I've been helping getting her dressed because I do want her to look presentable at school.
Okay.
Oh,
So you definitely use reels, but you're not doing Scentsy in reels. And then you do your posts that because you have the professional, so you get to see the insights. Now, do you share the stories?
Okay, that is something that I'm not great at. I am not great at being consistent in my stories. And I think a lot of that has to do is because I'm very consistent on my feed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you a trick.
I
So,
do need to know a trick. I do
okay.
need to know some things.
So while Jacqui is in the other room, I'll go ahead and go to mine. So I do have the professional of Facebook, and I am a numbers person. So I do insights. I am on every platform. And I say every, I'm not on every platform. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then I have a business page. And I do track my followers because it's not about I want the most followers. I want to see if my sales follow with what my followers are doing. So if it's like if my followers go up 1,000, am I getting more sales because my sales are up 1,000? If I'm getting a 20% more people interacting with my stuff, are they also buying or are they commenting? Like, so I look at my insights compared to where my sales are to see if it's helping. Because honestly, if I get like 1 million followers and my sales are sitting at 200 for the day, that means they're not tracking at all with any of my Scentsy stuff, and they're just following me for whatever they're following. So that on my Facebook, Instagram, I do have it automatically share, but again, we're waiting for Jacqui's huge tidbits on Instagram because we both suck at it. This sharing, so the sharing on, I do reels. I am not as consistent on reels as I used to be, but I do share like non-Scentsy stuff and Scentsy stuff. I'm also taking that same content from Facebook, because when you download from Facebook on your reels, there is no watermark. And then I move it over to TikTok or YouTube, depending on how long. YouTube, it has to be under a minute for the shorts. So I'm trying to use the same content across the board. And every time I post, I instantly share to my stories. When you click your share button, when it populates, it'll be like, you can share your post to a group or share your post with a friend to Messenger. And there's also a little icon for stories. So I share every post, no matter if it's business or my personal page, on my stories. And I get a lot of, and so when they click on the story to look at it or to watch it, it takes them to the post as well. So they can click to go to the post or they can just look at it. So you have different options. If you only have one picture, you can add. So when you go to the story from your phone, you can add the music, you can add whatever on it. But if they click on it, like the post to read it all, it takes them to the post in your page.
Oh, okay.
So I learned that off. I don't know who I learned it from. It was one of those. So I go to Instagram for the hacks and tips for Instagram and reels and all that thing. And I found it on somebody's, because I also use it for Canva tips. We share those all the time.
I love those.
I've been getting more predominant on TikTok because I'm talking more about my school, which again, I try to use the videos across the board. Because with me being a full-time student, that's like the only thing I do. My kids are out of the house, so I don't have littles that I can be like, this is what we're doing today. My husband and I, we don't have a porch. My husband goes to bed between 7 and 7:30. And so we don't like have evenings together, because by the time he gets home, I'm either getting home or I'm in the process of doing stuff. And then I'm trying to wind down because I've been working all day on either schoolwork or I'm working all day on like the house or my Scentsy. And so it's just downtime. He watches TV in the living room. I watch TV in the bedroom. And then he comes in and he goes to bed. So we don't have hobbies. We've been cleaning up the house, and I've been like de-hoarding. So, there's some things with that. But I definitely use reels for when I'm setting up products. I will take a video and I'll take it pretty fast. And then that way I can slow it down and I can add music, and just kind of like show stuff. But my insights, I like right now on my profile, my post reach is 4,744. Now you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of people. That just means, let's see, it's the number of people who saw your post at least once. So 4,000 people in the last 28 days. So don't think this was like in a day. This is like in 28 days. So within the last month, 4,744 saw at least one of my posts once. That's all it is. It just counts at once. So that, for somebody who is either getting it monetized or somebody who is reaching a lot of people, that would be like, if they had a video that hit thousands, then they would probably have a reach that's showing in the 100,000s or even in the millions, because not everybody who looks at your content will react and like or comment. So it doesn't mean the views, because I could view Robin's or Jackie's multiple times and it will show multiple views, but the reach is just for the one time, one post. That's all you get. Post engagement. So these insights, when you really dig into them, and there's a lot of different videos you can watch on YouTube about how to understand these if you are not a numbers person, like what to look for, what to look at. Honestly, I look at all the numbers, but I don't take them to heart, because again, this is just for me to see, are my sales up this month? Did I reach more people? And because sometimes I will start getting a lot of orders that are not my customers, like reorders, they're new. And so I try to figure out where they're finding me. But I like a lot of that background. I don't hear what you're saying, Jackie. You were muted, or
Sorry, I forgot I was muted.
okay.
Quick question on that, because I get a lot of questions about that. So I wanted to hear your take on this. So how do you, when you get an order, like let's say it's on your work, like your website, right?
Yeah.
You just get a P, which we call a PWS order, right?
Right.
And if somebody went to your website, ordered whatever, maybe somebody you know, maybe somebody you don't know. How do you figure out, did they find me on Facebook? Did they find me on Instagram? Did they find me on YouTube? Like, how do you do that? Or do you?
So I do. Through our workstation, there is a way that you can click on analytics under your account and you can connect it. So that way, when you get a click, it tells you where the click came from. If it was a shared link from my Facebook, Instagram, whatever, or if it was something that I like, someone was like, "Hey, I want to order," and I send them my website, it'll say through messaging or email. It tells you and breaks it down. Yes, yes, I know, Robin. It's kind of crazy.
No
So
idea. I usually just ask if I want to know.
That's what I do too. I usually just ask when I do a follow up. I'll be like, "Thank you for your order. By the way, how'd you find me?" And that's what I do. But I love the numbers that Cassie brings.
yes.
I
Oh,
love it.
I love me. Hey, I will tell you what. I cannot write a paper to save my life, but I can I can balance your checkbook, which we don't use those anymore.
Oh,
But
please hold on. Sign me up for that
Wait
service.
a
Okay.
minute. We do a budget every month and write down our expenses. So that's kind of like a checkbook.
it
Yes,
is. It
I
is
do a
as long as
budget.
you stay within that budget.
Yeah,
Mm.
we do.
So yeah. So whenever
Well,
you do, but
there's
I like numbers
that.
because I can prove that 1 + 1 = 2. Unless we're doing, see, I could get really nerdy on this, and like, unless we're talking about absolute numbers or values, then the whole values change, and then it also depends on what it's relative to. So it's a lot of fun. I love numbers because I can prove. It's just like there's a theorem, and you can prove it of how it works. When I write a paper and someone grades it, especially in college or high school, it is subjective. That means that person thought you sounded smart or thought you knew what you're talking about or thought it sucked. And I can't validate or change that grade because how am I supposed to prove that it's a good paper when they say it sucks? So I can prove math because I can say this is how I got my answer. So I love math. That is my analytical, logical part of my brain.
That's
So
actually a good thought process. Like, I really understand when you explain the paper thing like that.
yeah.
It's
So that's
basically
why
their opinion.
I don't like being creative because it's subjective to who the audience that you have. Like if you're talking one-on-one with, oh, and I'm also in a speech class, so that's where the audience thing comes from. But it depends on who you're talking to. If it's just you and your friends and you're like, hey, look, like when we send out text message, this is what I'm sending to my customers. And I don't create those because I'm a duplicator, not a creator, is that sometimes I find the messages that people have posted in either a team page or in a director's group or in something, and they're like, this is what I'm sending out to my customers. I take that and then I take it to Chat GPT and I'm like, fix this to where it sounds like me. And so Chat GPT, I have a whole thing that now that they remember me, so they know it's a little southern tone, they do a little bit of y'alls in there and some howdies and some other things that, like, it's so funny. It's like boot scooting all the way to the website. And I'm like, yeah. So, but I change it up so that way it sounds like me. And on, like, as we're talking about social media, one thing we haven't even touched on yet was like making it sound like yourself. But we'll go around on that one too. But right now, so my platforms, I'm definitely on Facebook. It automatically shares to Instagram. I still don't get Instagram. My insights are like always negative something percent. I mean, like I can't figure out Instagram, and I share everything. And I make sure it's shared to my stories. So when I share it to Facebook stories, it goes to Instagram stories, and I'm not getting any clicks. So I can't wait for Jacqui to say that. TikTok, I have gained a lot of followers. Again, I watch my followers on everything. YouTube. Um, but the way I post is either I have a theme of what I'm going to be posting for the day. Like I'll be like, and I do my Scentsy stuff and I kind of schedule that. Like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to talk about this product and this product and this product. I create the post. And then as I go through the day, I just find things to post about myself. Like if I'm cleaning, then I take a picture of like my counter clean that I use. But it's not like, buy my counter clean. It's all like, man, I just cleaned up my counter. It smells great. Or it's just me going to school and I try to do an inspirational quote or a post. Like today, I took a video of me walking in the rain. My shoes were soaked, like they're still drying. And I had my umbrella. So I just I did my feet, never showed my face. Did my feet walking in the rain. And then I went up here. But on TikTok, I sang a little bit.
Oh, I haven't even watched that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So I
I'm
sang a little
bookmarking
bit
this
while
for
I was doing
later.
it, and I made it my own song to a very classic, a very like iconic song. It's not, no, it's not like greatness. I mean, I literally did it from my bed, and I was I'm not going to sing it for you guys, but but I try to change it up on platforms of I will talk more on TikTok in my videos for social media because of the things I'm going through. So I will talk about like inspirational things and stuff that I'm working with or like problems that I had that day. Like school, first day of school was always so hilarious to see these kids because some of them are 18, 19, and they've never left mama's home. They've never had to be like they didn't get dropped off for the first day and get pictures out in front of their teachers, kind of thing. You can see that they're like scared.
Wait a
But
minute. Did you take a first day photograph? I need
um
to know. Did Blake take a picture of you for your
Blake
first day?
Blake leaves at 4:20 in the morning. I don't get up that early for
I
school.
don't care. You should have gotten up. You need a first day picture.
I did do a first day picture in my car and I was just like,
Oh,
first day of school. Because
okay.
technically Monday was the first day of school and I was online. So I did take a picture, turned around with my monitor set up, and I was like, first day of school. I have to do my online classes. And then I did one at campus. So I do have a first day, but I don't have a little, I should. I should be
You
like,
should. You should have a little sign or a chalkboard.
I should
Yes, you
have
should. Yes.
year 29.
Be proud, honey. Be
I'm in the
proud.
29th
Yes.
grade of my 2-year college degree because it's taken me 29 years to get here.
Don't
Not
care.
29, but
Don't
yeah,
care.
I am. You know what? I will do that. I'll have to find one.
Yeah.
So I never did that with my kids. So, okay. So Jacqui, we definitely know about Facebook and stuff, but we are really looking forward to your insights on Instagram because I know Instagram is your jam because you prefer that over Facebook. And Robin and I are in the dark. We're trying to figure out how the hell you even do it because neither one of us get good insight. I mean, like, I don't get anything off of Instagram.
I don't
Okay.
either.
So you need to give
Oh.
us the deets.
Okay, so here's the thing. And maybe this is because a lot of the trainings that I talk about, I always talk about like find the platform that you're most comfortable with
Yes.
and go with that one, right? So for me, Instagram has always just been the most comfortable because even before it turned into reels and videos and all the things, like I guess I'm the OG, but it always was about pictures. And for me, I'm a visual person. So I just went I was more drawn to Instagram than I was Facebook because Facebook for me is normally like I'm catching up with old relatives or my cousins or seeing what everybody's doing today or like all that thing. And so for me Instagram was more like how can I show my personality? So I always drifted even OG days back into Instagram because I was more visual. I wanted to show I still am very much a foodie. So one of the things that I would share a lot of was food and food recipes and what I was cooking and all the things. And then it was more about Madison's, in high school now, but when she was younger, right, it was more about her growing up and the cutesy little fun things she would do as a kid, which now as a teenager, I'm just annoyed with her and it's a whole thing. But
Baby, I've been through two
yeah.
teenagers. Trust me, it doesn't end until they leave.
This is my third, and I am over it.
Yeah.
I am totally over it. Justin and I had my husband, we had a whole conversation this afternoon when he got home from work, and I'm like, I am over her right now. Like, I am over her. So,
Hey, when
that
when
doesn't
she goes
change.
away to college or moves out, you'll be like, I miss
She'll never
her.
move out. Let's be honest. She's never moving out. It's the whole thing. But, so I've always just been drawn to Instagram more because it was more of a visual thing. Because Robin was talking about this earlier, right? And maybe I missed it if Texas was talking about it, but it was more of a pictures, photographs kind of a, right, like vibe. Like that's what you got out of Instagram. Now, over the years, it has evolved into reels and into lives and videos and things like that, like every other platform. But
Did it always have the carousel and the carousels when it had multiple? Was that always a feature or is that
you
something?
know, I want to say that there was carousels, but I want to say you could only limit it to like 2 or 3. Like
Okay.
I don't think you could do very many. Like now you can do a lot.
I think it's 10. I think it's
10 to 12 or something. Yeah, like
something like that.
you can do a lot with those. And even now they just came out because I also follow Adam Montessori. I think I'm saying his name right. I might be saying it wrong. But I follow him. He is the CEO or whatever of Instagram. And he gets on once a week and he will do here's what we're doing on Instagram this week, or here's what we're pushing, or here's a new feature. Did you
Okay.
know that this existed, and all of this stuff. So like you, Texas, like I follow those people who, especially on Instagram, right? Like here's what we're doing on Instagram. This is what's working. Here's the formula, whatever. But Adam Montessori was talking, it was just last week about, I want to say it was last week, about how on carousels, which for those of you who don't know what a carousel is, it's multiple pictures, right? So
You have to swipe it so it looks like it's
yes,
moving like a
right. So
carousel.
you can just swipe through, but they have it now to where you can put captions on each individual carousel. So
Okay.
like if you're doing, let's say, a photo shoot of your fall warmers, for instance, right? We're talking about Scentsy, right? So let's say I want to do a caption, but make it individual to each one. You can now individualize
But
that
that's
wording
always
on
been a feature.
every single character. No, it was, you could do the text, but it went through all of the like it was the same text through all of the carousels.
Okay, I've been able to do the individual pictures with the
Yeah.
individual stuff. Yeah, I mean, I knew that. I mean, like I was able to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
So
that was great. Like maybe
yeah.
that was recent.
Well, I don't know, because he talked about that, and he talked about, individualizing each carousel to, make it more engaging and all the things. So all of that, but he really, he gives tips, because his biggest thing on Instagram is, how can I help the creators grow?
Right.
And I love that from his perspective, right? Because with Facebook, I know it's all meta, right? It's all the meta
Now
universe,
it's
whatever.
all meta. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
connected.
But I don't see Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook telling me the best way to market my
I don't
business.
think he owns it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't,
But at least on Instagram, I know that this is somebody who's invested in Instagram, wants the people to grow, is really focused on that. So he's one of the people I follow. I do, like Texas, I follow other people who are learning and growing, and how to do the best reels and how to do this on Instagram. I follow those people because it's inspiration to me. But that's always why I was drawn to Instagram in the beginning. Um, my following is all organic. I can tell you that I have talked to other people within Scentsy, because I've reached out over the years and been like, oh my gosh, how did you get so many followers?
yeah.
Like, I'm so
Okay,
curious.
so what's
How
the
did you
tip?
do it? What's the secret? And I will tell you, every person that I specifically DM'd and reached out to, they specifically told me, I bought my followers.
Oh, I ain't
And
doing
I
all
was
that.
like, okay, first of all, that's too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's not what I'm here for, right? Like, I want to grow, and I want people who are interested in me and what I have to offer.
Yes.
I could care less if it tells me that I have 64,000 people or if I have 20.
Right.
I don't care, because if 20 people are invested in what I'm sharing, then that's quality, right?
Right.
That's quality over quantity.
Yes.
I could care less about the thousands of people who are following me. Now, there were, and it's changed over time, but there were certain things that you could do if you had more followers, right? Like you could do more things. Things have changed. You could even get yourself verified now if you want to pay for it. It's $15 a month, $14.99, whatever a month.
So do you have a verified account?
I will tell you, when they first came out with it, I did pay for it, because, in fact, WaxyCats and she did
Yeah.
it on Facebook, because she's more of a Facebook gal. I'm obviously Instagram. And so she did it on Facebook. I did it on Instagram, and we were both paying for it. I think she still does to this day, actually. But I will tell you, I did it for 3 months. So I gave it 90 days. I always date something for 90 days. That's my little speed dating round. For 90 days, I paid $14.99 a month to be meta verified on Instagram. I did not see, I maybe had one extra follower.
Okay.
I did not see a benefit of doing it. It didn't make any kind of difference in my interaction, in my engagement, in anything. So I was like, all right, it's 90 days. I'm good. I'm done. I've done my work. So for me, when it comes to social media and being authentic, like you guys said, like, it is more about me. Like Robin was talking about her and Tim, really getting together and doing the things. and texts you and going to school, and like me, like half the time it's me just going to work or cleaning around the house
or your lunch break.
or my lunch break. Yeah, like
Like you've
those are my
lost
things.
all this weight and you're posting all these like healthy
And
meals and
yeah,
stuff. That's
and
your
my
story.
weight loss. Yeah. So those are the things that are just authentic to me, right? And I really think, even though Scentsy, one of our core values is authenticity, right? I really think that regardless of you're within Scentsy or not, if you're just looking to grow on social media, be authentic.
Yeah.
Because when you are when you are dialed into what you are passionate about, what you are interested in about, you're going to find those people who also are in and looking for the same things, right? Like Robin and Tim doing their podcast and doing all the things, right? Like they have a really great thing going on right now, and I think that's wonderful because they're going to draw into those couples who are looking for that, or those wives or spouses, right? Whoever are looking for that. And Texas, the people who, me too, right? Like we're going back to school, and we're, at least me, I'm 46 years old, right? I am not
45
chicken in school, okay? But it's a whole thing. And so we have a different perspective because that's our current perspective.
Right.
The same thing with our Scentsy business when we bring it back. Like you were saying earlier about, hey, I schedule out posts, but I also, if I'm cleaning my counter today, I'm going to use the counter clean. I'm going to take a picture or do a reel with it. That's honestly how I do my organic reach. If I'm changing my wax today, it may or may not be Wednesday. Maybe it's Saturday, maybe it's Thursday, whatever. I'm sharing that. If I'm working on samples today, I'm sharing that. If I am changing out the oil in my diffuser, I'm sharing that. Like it's what I'm doing in the moment,
right,
is what I'm sharing. And part of what I love, aside from being a mom and a grandma and going to school and going to work, is Scentsy.
Yeah.
And so part of that is all drawn in. And so, yeah, I think it's very important to draw that piece in, because you guys both said, right? Both of you talked about how you're going to find more of the people who are going to connect with you and will end up following you. And it is that like, know, and trust factor, right?
Yes.
When they can connect with you, when they like you, when they trust you. And then you do come in and be like, hey, Beetlejuice is dropping this weekend. They're like, oh,
yeah,
well, I love Beetlejuice too. And Robin loves Beetlejuice. Oh my gosh, we have so much in common. I need to figure out what's going on with Beetlejuice, right? And then they're invested. So I think no matter if it's Instagram, no matter if it's TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, as long as you stick to you and you share all the things that are you, I think you're going to have success. That's my take on it all.
Well, and I think that leads us into the next really good portion, is about the core values of Scentsy, and it is being authentic. If you are trying to mimic somebody else, then you're going to, like, it's going to be hard to keep up with that. In the beginning, when I was doing my live videos, I watched so many different people, and I tried to be like Jacqui, and I tried to be like, I don't know if I should even name drop anybody else, but like Chloe Cox and Ray Ray. I mean, like, I tried to do what they were doing because it was working for them. And in the beginning, it's okay to copy someone else or use that idea and then make your own video. Like, just because they're changing out their wax doesn't mean you can't change out your wax. But you just have to make sure that you are talking like you, and you are, and you'll learn. Like, nobody gets on any social media platform and knows everything, because it changes. There's no one way to get the algorithm to show your stuff. There's no one way to get 1 million followers unless you're going to buy them. And honestly, I'm the same as Jacqui. I would never buy my followers. I get Instagram DMs all the time about, like, I can grow your Instagram for like $200. We can get you like 2 million followers. I'm not spending that money because I want to find the followers and get that amount of money, but I don't want to have to buy them and hope that they want to see my content. Like, I don't know if it's bots or a whole bunch of stuff.
I get the same thing on my YouTube too, because I do have a decent amount of following on YouTube, but I am just, the majority of what I share is training regarding Scentsy, or I mean, it's all Scentsy. Let's be honest.
Do you get the emails that someone has analyzed your video,
Yes.
and they're like, and they're circling the last one, and they're like, you didn't arrows, and I'm like, man, they took some time, and I'm like, bullshit. All they did was use a template and put it over the top of, like, because they all know it's always going to be the likes are over here, and then the things that follows over here, and hashtags, you didn't use your hashtags. So like, I'm like, I did hashtag, look down in the description, fool. So okay, so you said that you follow one of the create, or I guess the CEO or whatever of Instagram. There is, when you go to professional mode, you do get invited to a Facebook professional group. And if you haven't, it's one of those, it's really hard to sometimes find those invites when Facebook sends them to you or if a friend sends you a group. I happen to fall into that and I was like, follow them. I mean, it's just a group. It's in there. It talked, and that's where I've learned a lot of the insights, but they ask the same questions I always ask, and it's always like the same answer. Like, there's no easy way to get people to follow you other than to be you and utilize all the features on whatever platform, whatever one you're comfortable with. Like, I will go live, no problem. Like, I went live on my business page on Saturday just to be like, I have some new warmers in here. So I showed them, I lit them up, I put them up to the camera. I've had 2 views on it. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm trying to build up my business platform on Facebook because I'm doing like my Facebook parties there. So I'm utilizing that live feature just like I would in a VIP group. But going live or especially on TikTok, if you can get to, do the lives, you're going to get seen by more people. And when you post more, you get seen. And Lisa, I wish she was on tonight because she is so good at this, but she will post all day long. But it's not just Scentsy, but it is Scentsy. Like, if that makes sense. Like, it's like she's going to go get her coffee and she's got her keys and her one thumb that is painted, which she talks about all the time. She did paint all 10 the other day and I was like, what? But she has her coffee and her keys. And of course, she's got like a scent.
I almost just choked on my Gatorade. Sorry.
But she does. Like, she has talked about it. So I don't mind talking about it because she talks about it all the time. She only paints one thumb. And then she holds her products because she's always holding it, and all you see is one thumb. Oh, one thumb, like that's all you can see.
I'm not gonna lie, it's smart. It's smart. Like, you're catering to your audience, right? You're leaning into your marketing in that way, right? Like, why do you have
she
to
just
do the
wants
whole
to look like she got a
manicure if
pedicure.
you're just doing the one picture? Like, that's it.
So, but it's posting more. It's not posting one day of the week, and wondering why no one's seeing your stuff, guys. You have to do more content. So social media is all about posting. You have to interact. And that means when you post, you have to interact. It's social. You need to go through and time yourself because you don't want to get in the TikTok scroll or the Facebook scroll and you're in there for hours. You're not doing anything. You want to be like, for 20 minutes, I'm going to react to the first couple of things. Like, I see her picture. Oh, I love that. She's got her kids on there. Oh, they went out to eat. Where'd you go eat? Was it good? Oh, you're seeing a movie. Like, you want to interact and comment. And then when people comment on yours, and this is always a debate. Some people say you instantly comment back and you keep the conversation going as much as you can because the more interaction on the post, the more you see. Now, others, and I did pay for this at one point. I paid for 2 months worth. It was like $108 each month. And I took a chance on myself. And she broke everything down of like how to grow on Instagram. And I did it. And it helped. There was some insights, but there wasn't great. But she says you don't comment, you just react to the comment. And then the next day you comment back on everybody else's. So that way you have 2 days of interaction. So they commented on the first day and you're supposed to react the second day and comment. Like, it was very confusing. It is a lot of work. And I'm all like, if I get a notification someone commented, then I'm all back, thank you, or like, my pleasure. If they're like, thank you for sharing that, blah, 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 that kind of thing. But I do interact. You have to interact with people on your post and on their post, because if you want to know why you're not seeing some people, it's because you're never commenting on their stuff. And when they post, or you've unfollowed them, but you're still friends, or snoozed them. But if you post on their stuff, then their stuff's going to get seen on your stuff's going to get seen on their feed because you guys are now interacting. And Facebook, I'm not sure about Instagram, but Facebook's all like, whoa, they became friends. Or
Well, I was going to say, that is true for all platforms, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, all the things. Like, the more that you're commenting back and forth,
then the more you
you're
see
showing the algorithm, hey, I'm interested in what this content is, right? So you're going to see more of that person plus others like them.
Okay.
And so, yes, whatever platform you're on, I completely 1,000% agree. You have to interact. And it can't, I mean, yes, in an ideal world, do you want to interact the same moment that they commented? Of course. But we all have lives, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's a day later or whatever, as long as you're at least following up with those, they may or may not comment back. But yes, I agree that that algorithm's going to pick up, because if the algorithm, regardless of the platform, sees you doing a back and forth with somebody, even if it's a, hey, what color is your favorite color? It's a back and forth, and it
Right.
automatically picks it up and says, okay, y'all are friends. And it starts showing you their content, your content's being shown, and then likewise, right? So the people who are like you and they're following as well.
So, and the other reason why I do what, like, I kind of want to talk about my followers. Like, the reason why I track this is because if I start getting people sharing, so if you have 20 followers and they share, that's 20, those 20 people's friends. So their friends are now going to see it too. And so that's why you do want to, like, even in my videos, I'm like, make sure that you like, share, and comment on this, no matter where you see it at. Because that helps with me, because I don't want to have to spam your friends. But if you show my content to your friends, it helps me. So if you're wanting to support anybody, and it doesn't, I'm not talking about just us, but if you really like someone's content, then if you share it, it helps them as well. It helps them get to, yeah, it just helps, like, expand. It's kind of like a referral. It's kind of like telling your friends about this person over here, just like you would your food. You share your food, or someone else shares food, and you send it to, like I send my husband, I'm like, ooh, look at this, and here's meals. And I share Jacqui. Oh, my husband follows you, Jacqui, like on both platforms, like Facebook and Instagram. And he's like, did you see what the Jacqui Duran posted today? He's like, I really like that cucumber salad. And I was like, I know, but I ain't gonna go make it right now.
Robin and I have done the cucumber salad. It's good.
I know, I know. Well, I love cucumber salad, but I eat everything in the same day for cucumbers, because, like, it's not really, unless if you cut it up, you have to eat it the same day.
That's the
And
thing. You have to, if you want to eat one cucumber at a time,
yeah,
that's the way to do it.
yeah. But then I'd have to go. But then I'm ADD, so my food choices are very similar to anything else I do. I get stuck on one thing and I want it all the time, and I eat it and eat it and eat it, and then I'm done with it. But I've just bought the next round of, like, oh, I'm going to have this again, and then it sits there and gets bad. Because I've done that with, like, I was cheese and crackers for a while, because I'm a snacker. I don't really want a full meal because I don't eat a lot in a meal. So I want stuff I can snack on that I can stop at any time and pick it back up. And I was cheese and crackers, cheese and crackers. And I was like, I'm lactose intolerant. Why do I like cheese and crackers? And then I'm like, okay, I want to get on the fruit thing. So then I got on the fruit stuff and fruits and nuts, and then add a little bit of cheese in there because, I want to have my dairy, because I can't drink milk. So I have to get some dairy in me. But then the dairy likes to leave really fast. But but then I get on that, and then we have all these different containers of nuts. But I've realized now that when I get into those modes, I need to start sharing. So I do share my food of, like, this is what I'm eating today. I found these great hamburgers at Sam's. They're Angus burgers. You microwave them for 2 minutes and they taste like
Oh, the
pepper.
Sam's Club Angus burgers. Yes, we
And
get
I get
those.
the
We keep
cheeseburgers.
those in the freezer.
Yeah,
Yes.
I keep them in the freezer. I pull out two because they're small. They're not like, they're like a McDonald's, like the kid size, after it's microwave. And it has a bun, and so I put my ketchup, mustard, and pickles, and if I have lettuce, I'll throw lettuce on there, and then I just eat them, because for me it's the protein. I definitely need protein. Um, something. Yeah, I love. I'm not going to say the way I normally say. My husband always laughs at me when I say it, but I like some protein. Um, I just like. Okay, I'm gonna say it anyways.
You
But
like your meat.
I like meat.
Can't have your pudding if you don't eat your
Yeah,
meat.
I really do. I am a carnivore at heart. Like, I must have been in another life. I must have been a hunter or something, because I love meat. I am not, like, I like nuts and berries, but at the same time, is that I don't like them all the time. But anyways, but these are the things, like, I don't have hobbies, but I do love food. I mean, I love food and I love trying new things, but then sometimes I have to make Blake try it, and then I'll take a bite of it because I don't want to invest in a new food, because then I've wasted a whole meal. So, I trying to find things, like, I don't have hobbies anymore because I quit drinking. So I don't go to the bar and I don't do my karaoke stuff anymore. But my hobbies are now, like, we find food, and we find food that's as healthy as we can do without being a diet. And then I have school, and then I always take snacks. So
Well, and then I think if you look at social media, almost like, because here's the thing, right? We're building relationships. We're building relationships. And so if you are just like with us, right? The four of us, as we formed our friendship and our bond, it was over things that we could identify with, right? So it's the same thing when you're on social media. You are just looking to connect with other people.
Yeah.
And all of us have different things. You know, we've got Robin loves her energy drinks before she goes to the gym. And
Yep.
you know, like we all have things that we love to share. And
She needs to pile out them 5 kids and be like, my gosh, see, I got so many. I don't even know which one. I don't think this one's mine. Hey, you need to go home. Like, I think that'd be hilarious
Oh
because
my God, I should do
she's at
that.
baseball practice and you could have all 5 or 6 or 7 kids line up and be like, yeah, mine. Nope,
she's
not
got a
mine,
whole
mine,
team.
mine. You could have the whole team and be like, hold on, these are mine that are going home with me. You know, I think it'd be hilarious because her kids are in sports. And so she has that, that interaction with having there's a lot of kids around. And my mom used to carpool. Like we used to take half the neighborhood with us because they were on my softball team or my basketball or volley. Like I played everything. So
But yeah, if you look at social media, just like here I am looking to build friendships with people, what would you do to create a friendship with somebody? Whether it's somebody you work with or somebody you just met or whatever. Like those are the things that you would share. Here's the recipe I tried this week. Oh my gosh, did you see this on TikTok? Oh my gosh, did you see this on, is this show the one that you're watching? Oh my gosh, I just read the greatest book. Oh my gosh, I got this on Amazon. Like you're going to do all of those things. So if you're building relationships, do it on social media. It's the same thing that you would do in person. And I think the more that you do that, the more you share of yourself and the things that, because we all have multiple things that we're interested in,
right.
whether they're hobbies or not, right? We all do it, but you're connecting with other people. And the more that you open yourself up, the more you're going to find people who are going to be like, oh, I totally understand where she's coming from or he's coming from. Like I'm there. I have an Amazon addiction. It is nothing to hide, right? Like, hi,
Let's
I'm
not talk
Jackie.
about
I
the
have been
Amazon
addicted
list.
to Amazon. Like it's a whole thing. So, I mean, I'm going to find people who are like me. And I think
Right.
that's part of social media.
Now, what are y'all's opinions on showing not only the good, but the bad? I mean, have you ever had one of those moments that you're just like, you know what, today is just so not perfect, but it's kind of like, I still need to post. And I do post. I mean, I personally will be like, today was not a good day. Today was a struggle for me because, I have these hormones because I'm in my 40s, ladies, and I'm at that point where my hormones are not doing everything they have been doing. And so I have ups and downs on days, and it is not always fun. And the perimenopausal fog, is a lots of fun because then I forget what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's also attached to my ADHD that I'm like, I walk into a room and it's not that I forget what I was going to do. I forget, like, was I leaving? Like something big, like, was I grabbing my key? Like, I really don't know. And I have to stop a minute and I have to go through my day of like, what is today? What, like, it's for real. But show the good and the bad because you don't want to be the perfect person on any of them. Um, I, 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 I don't use filters at all, but I do put makeup on only because my face is so red that then people like to comment saying that I need to check my blood pressure. And I'm like, no, thank you. My blood pressure is just fine. I'm perimenopausal and I have the raccoon face and it's just rosacea.
Sounds
It,
like engagement to me.
it is, but then it's like, seriously, I have people start messaging me like, hey, you really need to go see the doctor and you need to have,
Really?
yes. And I'm like, thank you for
Oh,
your unsolicited medical advice. And I stopped posting my red faces. Like I just have a little bit of coverage on tonight because on Zoom it doesn't do really bad, but like Facebook or like when I take pictures outside with the sun hitting, it definitely shows it off if I'm not wearing makeup.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to tee this one up to Robin because I think this one's right up Robin's lane.
So
oh, for
the good and the
sharing the
bad.
good and the
Yeah,
bad.
sharing the
Oh,
good and the bad. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, no, I shared my depression story on social media. I'm medicated because of my depression. I forgot to take my medicine today. I probably should have shared that because I was feeling like dog crap. I feel better now. I
you got
think,
time?
well, it's at home and I'm at baseball an hour away, so I
I
don't know
know,
what
but
to
whenever
do.
you get home tonight, it could be a 10 o'clock post being like, I did not take my medicine today. This is how I felt.
Thank you, sister. I'm gonna
I'm
do
just
that.
telling you, use it.
Let's see what else. So my depression, my medicine. I have spinal headaches, which we finally pinned down to that's what they are.
So they're okay.
My hysterectomy, I shared that on social media. Healing from that. Oh my gosh, those first 3 days, I thought I was gonna die. I was in so much pain. And I reached out to my Scentsy friends and especially Amber because she's a nurse. And I would ask her, like, hey, is this normal? Like, and she would check in on me. How are you doing today? And I'm like, I feel like shit. Like, everything hurts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, so when it comes to social media, I really try to be very authentic and not only share just the good stuff, because I'm not a perfect human, but I will say I don't, when I, okay, so when I say that I share all the things, I don't share like my dirty laundry and all those kinds of things
Oh
on
yeah,
social
yeah,
media.
yeah.
So I don't want you to think like I'm completely an open book because there are things that just aren't meant for social media. But if you can be vulnerable in the way of sharing your depression, do you know how many people you can connect with
Mhm.
if you share that? Or the fact that I went to therapy for like 2 years. Do you know like how impactful that could be on someone? You
Yeah.
sharing that, then someone can turn around like, you know what, maybe I should try therapy. Maybe I can benefit from going and healing from my trauma because I've been through so much from being in an abusive relationship, having 3 kids from that, having my first kid at 18. Like I shared it all and beat all the odds. And that's what you need to do. You just need to be a little more vulnerable. I'm not saying you have to like jump right in and share all the things, but maybe if you can like tiptoe in and share little things at a time until you get more comfortable with being more vulnerable, think of how many people you're going to reach and connect with and build those relationships because you decided just to open up a little bit, share a little bit of your, I guess, vulnerable side
Yeah.
or how you're feeling or what you're struggling with. There are people out there that want to take your hand and walk with you through it.
Yeah.
So if you can open up, I 100% suggest to do it, but don't share all the dirty laundry. Like, that's not the place. Social media is not the place for all that.
Well, and
I
also
agree.
don't share the negativity. Don't be like there's a difference of sharing your heart, like what's hard for the day or the struggles you're going through, but if you start sharing and I'll say that do not share about politics if you're Cincy. Like it honestly, for anybody's page, do not share about politics one way or the other because it's just not the platform to do it. Honestly, you should it just causes a lot of fights between amongst friends. I mean, I'm just telling you flat out. And second is like the negativity of everything always sucks. My life sucks. If you're wanting to create a social following, the life can't suck every single day. You're choosing to stay in the suck. You need it like, you need to suck it up. And like you I hate to say that way, but like you need to suck it up because there's something more going on. It is and if you're posting that all the time, negativity breeds negativity. So when you're sharing your struggles, that you can always have a positive side to it of like, you know what? I'm glad I got medicated because man, I missed my medicine today, but at least I remember what it's like to be off of it completely. I'm thankful for this. I missed it today and I've had struggles and I'm going to make sure I take it tomorrow, but it's not about like, you know, just don't do the negative. Like the negative vomit that I see and especially when I scroll through Facebook, like I will unfollow
Oh,
Cincy
yes.
Yeah.
when it's like everything sucks, life sucks, I can't even do anything, I don't even know, whatever, blah 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 kind of thing. Like I don't do that because I don't want to read it and I don't want to stick in it. Like
I
I
will tell you, even on my YouTube channel, I should because I still have endometriosis, and when I initially was diagnosed with my endometriosis, I I've got a whole playlist on my YouTube channel about how I was diagnosed and the multiple surgeries I went through. Then I finally had a hysterectomy, which doesn't cure endometriosis, but I finally did that. And like every single one I documented, put it on YouTube. And I will tell you, I mean, that has nothing to do with Scentsy, right? But it was still something that I struggled with, something I was going through personally. And I had so many people that would reach out to me And granted, it's not necessarily to be my next customer or a team member or whatever, join my team, but it was still, again, building those relationships. And then even now with my weight loss journey after having bariatric surgery this year, that's, I mean, on TikTok, like I've been very vulnerable on TikTok. Like I am not the person who will show up in the bikini on the TikTok, but like
I'm
I've
waiting for
gotten
that day
kind of,
though. I'm waiting for
yeah,
that day so I can be like, slay girl,
I'll wait
slay.
for it too. I'll wait for that day too. But I've been very vulnerable about that. And it is a vulnerable thing. And I think that there are, and just like with, you know, hey, I'm having a bad day. Hey, I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety. I'm on Prozac. I'm on Xanax daily. Like I have all the things. I got pregnant at 18, had my first daughter at 19. Like I've been there and I get it. And I think that we all think that social media is the highlight reel, but while that is what a lot of people do portray on social media, when you do, and again, like Robin said, like you don't have to air all the dirty laundry, you don't have to show the parts that you're maybe not comfortable sharing, but building those again, just touching on the things that are affecting you and what you go through are going to help build those connections with other people. And I think that's what a lot of people get worried about on social media, like, oh, well, I don't want to share this, I don't want to look, you know, I don't look pretty today. Well, who the f cares? Because
Right.
here's the thing, right? Like I don't look pretty every single day of my life, but I'm still me. I still
Yep.
have value. I still have worth. And I still have something I can offer, whether that is a, hey, I'm in a bad spot today, or whether it's a, holy crap, I had a really great day today, right? Like, there's both sides of that coin. So I think the more that you do share of those things, doesn't have to be all the time, but the more that you do, the more you are going to connect and build those
Well,
connections.
and as a friendship, as building just normal relationships, friendships, even off of social media, you do have to be a little bit vulnerable. And I think all four of us have we've all shared something that we would never share publicly, but it's
Mhm.
something that we go through and building the relationships on social media or off social media with friends, with, even with family. Like if you have to connect, and once you connect, you may have to be a little bit vulnerable. If you talk about depression and then someone asks you about it and you're like, I'm not going to talk about it, then they're not going to understand. So, you know, you can pick and choose what you share and it takes time. Like, it's not like Robin like got on Facebook and was all of a sudden like, hey y'all, I'm a trauma baby. Like, and like going on this old stuff. Like she started sharing a little bit here and realized she was more comfortable, especially with the reels. And so she started sharing more. And it's just like with my school stuff. I've been going to school since January of this year, and I didn't really start sharing. Like I would post and be like, "Hey, I'm heading to school," but I hadn't really talked about school. Like I just posted a picture of myself, like, and did a motivational quote. But I was going to school and working up there 4 days a week, and it was a lot for me. And I don't like to take pictures every day of myself. Um, but at the same time, is that I had to get more comfortable with it, so it's not a big deal. Because, like, I share Scentsy all the time. I'll share products, but I sit there and do a photo shoot with myself, so I have multiple pictures all day, like that I can share on multiple days, where I'm not having to share myself every day. And I'm realizing that it's easier now because I've been forcing myself to do it. I've been forcing myself to be consistent. And
Well, and I think along the same lines is a lot of this, and Robin's gone through way more therapy than I have. I really need more therapy than I've ever had in my life. But I will say that for me, even just sharing on those bad days when I was going through my endo, when it was so bad, even my weight loss in the beginning and the struggles and all the things, it really has helped me personally with my own self-care, right? Like it is almost a cathartic thing, right? Like you're getting on and maybe you're sharing a little bit about, you're not going too deep, maybe not everybody, right? But you're not going too deep, but you are sharing a little bit. And I think that that's part of filling your own cup too, right? Like you have to feel complete as a person, and we do have to have outlets as
yeah,
humans, right? Whether that's therapy, whether that is having a best friend, whether that's your spouse, whether whoever that is, right? But it's still kind of opening that door and saying, hey, I'm a little bit vulnerable. I'm sure somebody else can connect with this, because in the world that we live in, right? There's a lot of people who are scared and are going through a lot of crap every single day that nobody really wants to talk about. And I think that if you can help one other person, let's help one more person today, right? Like sharing them that you're not alone in this. You're not alone if you feel depressed today. You're not alone if you're going through all of this and you're going through a divorce or whatever it is, right? Like all of the things are hard. We all go through it. It just depends on when you're going through it.
Yeah. And I think that's like, so as we kind of like round this out, because we are hitting the hour, is that social media can be utilized so many different ways. There's so many different platforms that you can find your space. And then as you've learned this one and learned that one, I know things change, but then you can start spreading out to move to other platforms. You can't learn all of them all at once. So find your comfort zone on which one and find the features. Google it. If you have to, like, Google, how do I do a reel? And there's somebody that will show you how to do the reel. How do I use the feature of sharing my stories, or where is it at? Like, there's so many different things that if you don't know, you can ask someone who has done it, or you can Google it to find it. Because guys, I always tell all my teamies, Google that shit, because there's so much stuff. There's many people that have created content to show you how to do it. They're not gatekeeping anything. And when it boils down to it, half the time when you search that, if there's not a lot of videos, then it goes to the source. Facebook has a FAQ. Instagram has a help FAQ. Like, there's so many different ones. So you have to take time to learn it, because none of us got here where we were at on our own. So tonight, thank you guys so much for watching, listening to us on Who Knows Best, the four besties that have gotten together just to share how we work our businesses, how we work our lives. And tonight we talked about social media, the ups and downs, the goods, the bads, what we do, how we do it, and all the goodness. If you have questions, please drop them down below or send us a message, because we would love to answer it. This whole reason we've done this platform is to help as many people as we can on the things that we do. And since we all do our businesses different, this is a great way for us to share our different insights, our different, I guess, the way we look at things. Like, they didn't know I looked at insights, but I do. So, I hope you got something out tonight. And if you haven't been told today, we love you. You are smart, you are worthy, you are strong, and you are important, and you can do this business. If you need help, like I said, reach out. Post a question, post a topic. If there's something that you're really struggling with in your business or in anything else, social media wise, we'll be more than happy to try to touch on it, do a video on it or something. Somebody will reach out to you. My name, and yeah, that's what we got. So my name is Cassie Bollinger.
I'm Jacqui Duran.
And I'm Robin Hatfield.
So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to Who Knows Best. And we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.